Green Party leader Zach Polansky has now called on Sir Keir Starmer to condemn the strikes on Iran after branding the US and Israel rogue states. He says the strikes are illegal and unprovoked. And the answer is negotiation and de-escalation. Meanwhile, his co-deputy leader, Mothin Ali, was spotted at what appeared to be a pro-Tehran rally over the weekend. How dangerous are the Green Party? Joining us now is the editor of Turn Left UK, Ben Mclaine. Ben, thank you very much. Tremendous to see you. Great to have you on the show. So, look, Mothin's kind of 2 for 2 on the old terror attack situation, isn't he, really? I mean, straight after October the 7th, he was straight out the traps, had to apologise for some of the things he said there, and then the Ayatollah gets slotted and he appears to be at a pro-Ayatollah demonstration. I'm starting to wonder whether or not this guy maybe has our best interests at heart, Ben.
Well, in terms of him being pro-Ayatollah, that doesn't really work for me. So the protest wasn't supporting the regime, but organised by the Stop the War Coalition and the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament, right? The Iranian regime supposedly want to get hold of nuclear weapons. The Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament obviously want to disarm nuclear weapons. The protest signs produced by the Stop the War Coalition and CND that were on the ground there and in those pictures that you showed say, don't attack Iran, stop Trump's wars and no war in Iran, not, you know, they're not saying, like, glory to the martyred Ayatollah, right? It would be a bit different if we were in that situation. I'd also say
unfortunately, we are. They're not doing it there, but unfortunately, that is literally happening now. There are vigils taking place for the Ayatollah now, although I very much doubt Mothin Ali is at one of those.
I don't think Mothin Ali is in attendance. I'd say, by the way, Saddam Hussein was a brutal dictator, and his sons, Uday and Qusay Hussein, terrorized the people of Iraq. But if you were one of the people that you know, marched against the war in Iraq, no one could really say that you support, for example, Saddam Hussein's genocide of the Kurdish people. Like that, those two positions don't really add up. I'd also say, yeah, you know, Ayatollah Khamenei, sorry, not Khomeini. Khomeini was the previous leader. Ayatollah Khamenei was a brutal dictator. And I condemn unequivocally, and Mothin Ali would condemn as well, unequivocally, the acts of atrocity committed by Ayatollah Khamenei. But Khamenei was also a right-wing hardliner in Iranian politics. He was part of the Combatant Clergy Association, a right-wing militia group in Iran, you know, responsible for the deaths of tens of thousands of protesters and the morality police suppressing women's rights. But Mothin Ali is a leftist following a gay, vegan, Jewish leader who, you know, Mothin Ali runs a YouTube channel called My Family Gardens, all about growing his own veggies in his garden. In
I mean, he also shouted Allahu Akbar when he won a local council and said, "This is for Gaza." So, I mean, there is that stuff.
Absolutely,
as well.
He believes in the human rights of the Gazans, and he shouted "God is great" when he won his election. Absolutely, but he also attends Bilal Masjid Mosque in Leeds, which is a Sunni mosque, and Mothin is Bangladeshi. Most Bangladeshis are Sunni. The Ayatollah was a Shia religious leader. When people claim that Mothin is in support of the Ayatollah because he attended an anti-war protest, it seems a bit like claiming that Irish Protestants supported the Good Friday Agreement because of their love of the Pope as God's messenger on earth. You see what I mean? Look, it's a misunderstanding of...
Well, as I understand what the Green Party's policy on this would be, it would be to divest ourselves from America and Israel, so lose both of those as allies completely, and then just to have negotiated with the Ayatollah, to send Zach Polansky out there to negotiate with the Ayatollah. Do you not think... I mean, it kind of makes more sense when you realise that they also want to legalise crack cocaine, this stuff, doesn't it, really?
Well, legalise and regulate. Importantly, crack cocaine would only be sold by pharmacies in that situation. Not, you know, you can just go in the local shop and buy crack cocaine. Right, the same way that you couldn't buy it from Boots specialist pharmacies. Importantly, because you know, these things have to be regulated the same way that, by the way, we regulate methadone, right, for treatment of currently. But anyway, that's a distraction. The Green policy on this is that the West took 20 years and $2.3 trillion billion to replace the brutal regime of the Taliban in Afghanistan with the brutal regime of the Taliban in Afghanistan. And let's not do the same in Iran, right? Let's not spend another $3 trillion to replace the Islamic extremists in Iran with more Islamic extremists, right? Food inflation will go through the roof in that time, and struggling British families will suffer as Iran attacks the Strait of Hormuz, and prices will go through the roof. The money that's spent on this should go on NHS care, investing in local communities, and improving conditions for our armed forces, which is a Green Party policy, by the way. Improving conditions, pensions for the armed forces. Excuse me. Yeah, go.
All right, we're at the end of the hour, I'm afraid. Ben, thank you very much.